You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.
Let's start off with the Chiefs and the Bengals, man, because that game was amazing. We'll get to Tom Brady, man. We got a lot of time to talk about him. Let's talk about that first game because I watched it. You watched it. And I think I did text you. I was like, man, the Bengals look like they are in trouble. And I'm the only one that picked the Bengals. I didn't give up on them. And I was like, man, because it was 21-3. And I was like, man, it looks like they can get run out the building. But because that first quarter, man, it was all Chiefs. All Chiefs.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was.
Second quarter to the fourth quarter, it was all Bengals. And that defense, man, before that final Chiefs drive, the Chiefs were held to 34 yards of offense in the second half. Patrick Mahomes couldn't do nothing.
You know what I liked? Joe Burrow was showing us a little his LSU action because he actually pulled the ball down, took off and ran a few times to keep the chains moving. He did. He had some good runs. He did that stuff at LSU. I said going into the game, I picked the Chiefs, but I didn't think the game was going to be too big for Joe, and it wasn't. After he went undefeated at LSU and won a national championship, I just thought, that kid has got a lot of poise. Man, he is so cool.
Yes, he is
cool under pressure.
And of course, he doesn't have an offensive line.
None. I mean,
and he ran for big yards. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I can't think of a team that's won the Super Bowl with a bad offensive line. So we're not doing our picks. We'll say that for next Friday.
Right. Well, it didn't hurt that, oddly enough, the Bengals came closer to playing more like the Niners than the Niners did. Look, the Bengals actually ran the ball 26 times yesterday. They actually committed to running the ball. It didn't work out all the time, but they stuck with it. Like Joe Mixon was not getting yardage, but when the second half came around, Zach Taylor, by the way, they almost fired him before the season started. Think about that. He was on the hot seat. That's crazy. Now he's going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I know, man.
But they stuck with the running game. Joe Mixon finally started breaking some runs. And he ended up with like a 4.2 yard per average. That's not mind boggling, but it keeps the chains moving, and it allows as the Chiefs defense starts closing in on Joe Mixon, it frees guys up, the wide receivers to actually catch the ball. And I love the fact that he chose to ride his second option, like. Jamar Chase wasn't doing it yesterday. He wasn't doing it. So he went to T. Higgins, and T. Higgins started wearing the Chiefs out. They couldn't cover him, and that showed you right there. Look, Kansas City had real weaknesses in their secondary. Outside of Tyrann Mathieu, their secondary is not very good, and they certainly don't have enough guys on the front seven to put pressure on Joe Burrow.
You remember the first 7 weeks of the season, that Chiefs defense was like all-time horrible. And then they went on that, I believe, 7-game winning streak. The defense turned around. But in the playoffs, they were back to giving up like 28 points a game.
Yeah, the Chiefs defense got good for a while. I mean, real good.
Yeah. In the playoffs, they just went back to the way they were.
They reverted.
First week, they reverted back.
And honestly, they, that Chiefs defense actually carried them to about 5 victories in the second half of the season. Yeah, because they got that good. Yeah.
Even during that win streak, man, Patrick Mahomes was not playing like Patrick Mahomes.
That offense hasn't looked right all year.
I know, man. And that's why I didn't pick them. And boy, it came to light, especially in the fourth quarter. Rhodes, what did I tell you was my biggest problem with Patrick Mahomes? What did I say?
Holds on to the ball.
He holds on to the ball way too long. And he got lucky because, boy, he threw a pass that should have been intercepted. And I was texting my buddy, my Navy buddy. He's a Bengals fan. I was like, man, how lucky can he be? And the Chiefs are down by, what yard line did they get to? Like the 8 or something like that?
Yeah. Yeah.
And you would have thought they would have went. They never went to the end zone. Patrick Mahomes started holding on to the ball and it went backwards. Now, that final play, well, not the final play for the regulation field goal, Mahomes held on to the ball way too long. He should have thrown it out of bounds, and the field goal would have been easier. But no, Patrick Mahomes holds on to the ball and fumbles, and boy, he is so lucky. I think it was Kelsey that actually recovered the fumble. I was like, that was just idiotic, man. That was inexcusable. Don't run the ball back. Stop holding on to the ball. Throw the ball away. You got a manageable field goal to kick a field goal. Now, credit to the Chiefs. They made the field goal. But that was like a, 45-yard attempt or something like that? It should have been like a 30-yard attempt if Patrick Mahomes didn't hold on to the ball so long.
Well, he came into that game with 20 touchdowns and 1 pick in the playoffs? Like literally 1 pick. He threw 2 interceptions just yesterday.
Yeah, I mean
yesterday.
Yeah. And then of course they go to overtime and Mahomes is in the pocket. He has all this time. And I don't like the decision he had to throw that ball. It wasn't necessarily in double coverage. Now that was a hell of a play by the defender to tip that ball out, and the Bengals intercepted it. And once they intercepted that ball, I knew it was over.
You could feel it.
You can feel that it was over. And then now Burrow, he made a couple of throws too, but they ran it down. They played it perfectly.
And that damn kicker for the Bengals is stone cold. That dude has got ice water in his vein. He's a rookie. That kid's a rookie.
I'm shocked that the Chiefs didn't try to ice him and call timeouts, because they had 3 timeouts.
Did you hear what he said before the AFC Championship game? When he went out to kick the field goal that won the game last week, he told Brandon Allen, the holder, before they ran out, he looked over at him and said, well, we're going to the AFC Championship game, and ran out there and kicked the field goal to win the game. I mean, that's some confidence right there.
Now, granted, it was a really, really easy field goal. I mean, it was like 28-yarder or something like that. I don't remember.
You're still in a pressure situation.
Yes, it's still a pressure situation, but right down the uprights. But once that interception happened, and because the ball was intercepted, I can't remember exactly where the Bengals had possession of. It was somewhere close to midfield. And I was like, man, there is no way they're going to get that ball back. No way. They played it perfectly. And it came down to it, man. Patrick Mahomes, this was who Patrick Mahomes was really for the most part, especially when they were losing a bunch of games early. Just the turnovers, the fumbles, very much un-Mahomes-like. But Mahomes had been getting away with that the first few years of his career. But ever since that Super Bowl, man, he
has felt off.
He's felt off.
Yeah.
The Buccaneers showed everybody the playbook for how to defend Patrick Mahomes. Now, of course, he's going to get his numbers because he's still great. But they really exposed him. He's never been the same since. I mean, it was so bad that even Nick Wright kind of gave up on him. Then he said they're going to be here in the future. Shannon Sharp, who's a big Patrick Mahomes guy, gave up on the Chiefs. I mean, mainly probably because of defense, but Mahomes was not playing up to par.
Interesting.
Yeah. And our buddy Mick Walsh sent two euros. Mahomes needs to stop being arrogant with the ball. Man, I've been saying this, man. It's okay to throw the ball away. One thing that is so great about Tom Brady, and we're going to talk about him later, he has no problem throwing that ball out of bounds. But of course, he doesn't have the athleticism of Patrick Mahomes to be running around in the backfield either. But even still, man, Mahomes time and time again, and this is kind of crazy. The media was giving him a pass. Dude was actually in the Super Bowl, running around like crazy, refused to throw the ball out of bounds. And in that Super Bowl, he had 0 touchdowns and 2 picks. And what was the sports media saying? That was amazing what he was doing in the backfield. I'm like, man, he should have thrown the ball away.
Well, one of the biggest reasons why Brady was so good and has been so good all these years, he was always basically had the quickest release in the entire league.
Yes.
He got the ball out. Now that's don't get me wrong, that's a byproduct of Josh McDaniels' offense.
But he's also very smart, because some years he didn't have a good line and his release was quick to minimize the pressure.
Right.
Mahomes knew going into that Super Bowl, his offensive line was in shambles. And all he did was run around in the backfield instead of throwing the ball away smartly.
It's kind of weird because he's much, much younger, but Mahomes fell victim to a little bit of what we've seen out of Big Ben the last 3 years.
Yes.
Big Ben used to be able to hold on to the ball and was fast enough. He could actually buy enough time to throw the ball to somebody else. But Patrick,
that beating came and took a toll on him. So now he can't even throw the ball down 8 yards anymore.
Now, Ben's got a massive advantage over Patrick. Ben had the best pump fake in all of football.
Yeah.
Right? So when he would run...
And he's a large man to bring down, too.
When he would run around and do those swing outs, you'd have defenders coming, and Ben would do a pump fake over here, and the defenders would start converging, and then Ben would throw it over here. Mahomes don't have a pump fake like Big Ben. He just don't.
Honestly, man, Mahomes is going to have to change his approach. If he wants to last I'm talking about just 10, 12 years, he's going to have to change his approach. He's definitely going to have to get rid of the ball. It's okay to throw the ball out of bounds. He's going to have to learn how to do that, because if he keeps running in the backfield, man, as he gets to like age 30, 31, he's going to break down, because he's just going to take a beating. And I don't want to say Mahomes is too great, man, to not have a long career like that. Now, a prime example, this is probably not the best example. Look at Cam Newton. Cam Newton was doing all that running, man, and he took such a beating because mainly he was a running quarterback. Cam is 32 years old? No, he's pretty much washed up. I'm not saying that's going to happen to Mahomes, because Mahomes can actually throw and Cam can't. But all that running around, man, you're going to have to stop that eventually.
You know why I won't buy that the NFL is rigged? Because the moment Patrick Mahomes lost this game, Roger Goodell walked out of some room pissed off and slammed the door.
If the NFL was truly rigged, man, the Cowboys would be in it every single year. They would have put seconds back on the clock so Dak can have another opportunity.
Right. Point blank, right, wrong, or indifferent, ratings went out the door when Patrick Mahomes got eliminated. That is a fact. That is a fact.
And this is probably the worst case scenario for the NFL as far as ratings, because I know we're not on the Niners and Rams game. It sounded like there was way more Niners fans there than Rams. Honestly, the Rams are not a LA team. They're just not.
Do you want to know what makes me feel good about that? We've got a home field advantage now when we go to LA.
Yeah.
I mean, just an extra home game just showed up every year. Yeah.
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 I mean, it's safe to say that could actually be an advantage to the Bengals. Now, the Bengals are going to be, I believe they're going to be the underdogs. I'm not giving my pick yet.
They're already the underdog.
Something's telling me, man, take the points. Take the points, man. I'm gonna save my pick, man. I really am. I'm gonna save my pick.
I'd love to dive into that game, but we're not going to do it. We're not.
Not going to do it. But I will say this:
Yeah.
When it came to the pits, I picked against the Rams in every game because I picked the 49ers to win. The only game I picked for the Bengals was yesterday's game. I picked against them 2 straight weeks. I already know where I'm leaning in this game. Actually, I already know who I'm choosing to win it.
Me
but
too.
I'm gonna save it.
Me too.
I'm gonna save it.
Yep. Man, I would have loved to have had a Bengals 49ers rubber match. The third game, the trilogy in the Super Bowl. That would have been cool.
But we will get into that. But Rhodes, let's go over to your 49ers, man, who blew a 10-point lead.
Yep. What did I say going into the game, Mr. Matrix? I said our front
run the ball.
Our front 7 would have to get pressure on Matthew Stafford.
Yeah.
We did not do that. We only sacked him twice. And when I say pressure, I'm talking about sacking him 5-6 times. Okay. Knocking him down over and over and over again. It never felt like we got the appropriate amount of pressure on Matthew Stafford on defense at all. Our secondary is trash. And shockingly, for all the things that we can say about this game, if Jaquiski Tartt catches that wide open interception,
yes,
the game's probably over.
That's the interception I was talking about right there.
I mean, the game's probably over. It was like getting a damn punt right into his arms, and he knew it. After the game, he was like, "We lost the game because of me." He just came out and admitted it. But look, that's not, in my opinion, that's not the only reason. There was a couple of things I didn't like outside of our us not being able to put any pressure on there. I hated our offensive game plan. I hated it. I was like, what are you doing here?
Jimmy G threw too much.
He threw way too. What did I say going into the game? We had to run 28 to 40 times. To 40 times. We ran 20 times in that game.
All you need to do is look at the numbers. When Jimmy G throws under 20 times,
we win.
The 49ers win a lot. When he throws over 20, yes, his numbers are going to be massively more because he's throwing more, but they don't win. They don't win.
They don't win.
Because it's kind of like fool's gold on his numbers. That's why.
And the other thing, he kept calling these plays, and look, I understand Bill Walsh did this, but Kyle goes into these games, he pre-scripts the first 15 to 24 plays on offense. Pre-scripts it. Okay? I've got an appreciation for that, provided what you're doing is working. But if it's not working, in other words, I bet Kyle would sit down and he'd say, well, I did try to run the ball, that we weren't going anywhere. Well, yeah, because you kept trying to run the ball over and over again, straight up the gut. And I'm like, we've got these guys that are ultra quick in Debo and Elijah Mitchell. Why are we not running any zone halfback sweeps? We're not running any tosses. We're doing nothing to the outside in the running game at all. We're not even attempting it. It's like you've got speed all over the place. And he never even attempted it, really. I mean, he never tried to get the ball on the outside, okay? On either side from the running back.
One other thing, too, that last Jimmy G TD pass, that was mainly the receiver, because that was like a screen pass that went for like 40 yards, but the receiver did mainly all the work.
I would dog Jimmy for that, except Tom Brady made a living doing that in New England. So I cannot dog out Jimmy for that.
Yeah, but Tom Brady also did a whole bunch of other things too.
Well, he threw some deep passes, but that New England, and I've always liked Jimmy G in New England's offense better than Kyle's. Always. I always thought that offense in New England was much better suited for Jimmy Garoppolo than you need a Matt Ryan type, a guy that can play action pass, and then throw the ball deep, and we saw Kyle Shanahan, Matt Ryan, what happened there.
But the thing is, Tom Brady in New England, he didn't really have anybody to throw the ball deep to. that was a problem right there.
That is a problem, but he made, Jimmy's got a good, a really good tight end. By the way, Kyle, where the hell is George Kittle in the last 2 games? We got arguably the best tight end in football, and where the hell was he? Where was he? I mean, where are the plays to get George Kittle the ball? I just couldn't figure that out. Let me just pull up the stats right quick. See what Kittle actually did. He had a touchdown, but 2 catches for 27 yards. 2 catches for 27 yards. He should have had 12 targets yesterday. 12. I mean, he's a playmaker. He pulled off some unbelievable catches in this playoff run. Nope. Didn't try to get him the ball. I mean, you've got 2 great playmakers on the team, Debo and George Kittle, and you shut out one of them completely. I did not like Kyle Shanahan's offense. The other thing, and I'm not big on this whole analytical where everybody needs to go for it on 4th down, like that clown down with the LA Chargers and all his, I'm going to go for it on 4th down no matter where I'm at. That's ridiculous. I mean, you got to understand the tone of the game. But when our offense come out and it is 4th and 2 from the 43, and you got a chance to put the Rams away, we came out to punt the ball, called a timeout, and then the offense came back on the field. I said, here we go. Okay, not a big fan of going for it on 4th down, but at that time, I'm like, you got a chance to put the Rams away right here. 4th and 2 on the 43. And we tried to draw them off sides. Where are your testicles, Kyle? You had a chance to close the game right there. Right there. And by the way, they interviewed him after the game. He said it never even entered his framework to go ahead and go for it on that 4th and 2. He said, I never even considered it. Are you kidding me? You got one of the best running games in the league, and you never considered going for it on 4th and 2 to try to seal that game up. I mean, horrible play calling. What else did I not like in the game? I guess that's about it. We didn't run the ball nearly enough. We didn't try to run the ball outside. He didn't seem to want to make adjustments in the game, Kyle. And Jimmy G threw the ball way too much.
Yep.
And for everybody that loves Trey Lance, or whatever, there's no way in hell Trey Lance gets us to the NFC.
I was just about to say that.
Not a effing prayer. We win 5 GD games this year.
Yeah, you got to remember the 49ers were were they the 6th seed? I think so. Because they played the Cowboys in the first round. 6th seed, yeah. Yeah, Trey Lance, nah. No,
and look, Trey Lance may turn out to be great, and I hope he does. But
you'll probably see him next year because both of us agree Jimmy G ain't coming back. And I believe Jimmy G.
We got some drama in San Francisco right now.
Well, Jimmy G is kind of sitting on that, like he kind of knows that it was over. Didn't he kind of get kind of like emotional knowing that this is probably it right here?
I think Jimmy's ready to go. I think he's ready to go.
Yeah.
Like, I think he's going to tell Don Yee, you know where I think he should go? I'd say trade me to Washington. Trade me to Washington. The rest of their team is good. It's a division that he can absolutely theoretically win that division. So that's where I would want to go. I like Kyle Shanahan, but in that game, I thought his protege wore his ass out. Really and truly. Yeah. So.
All right, guys, smash the thumbs up button. Thanks everybody for coming out here. So that is our rant. No pun intended, Rhodes.
That's not a bad place for him either. Yeah.
Well, that's maybe Aaron Rodgers may go there. We'll have to see.
I do have a caveat.
Yep.
if the Niners can figure out how to do it in any way, their only goal in this offseason should be to put Aaron Rodgers on that team. That's my last stamp going into the offseason.
That's a good spot, man. He's a California guy.
He loves the Niners. We can win 2 Super Bowls if we can get him on the team. Trade them, both of them. Give them Jimmy G and Trey Lance. Who cares? Who cares?
Then that'd be an easy choice right there. Because the 49ers, let's be real, they're a quarterback away.
That team
it's just that simple. They're a quarterback away. Because think of this. People, now we don't know necessarily yet if the Rams are necessarily a quarterback away, because they did go to the Super Bowl with Jared Goff, but Jared Goff could only score, what did they score? 7 points, I believe, in that game.
Yeah.
Now they got Matthew Stafford. So if they win this Super Bowl, then you can definitely make the case the team is a quarterback away. Even though this is really Aaron Donald's team, but the impact, Aaron Donald won't nearly have the kind of impact as a great quarterback. You know, and Matthew Stafford is a very good quarterback. Let's just call him that. He's not a great quarterback. He's a very good quarterback. Win, lose, or draw in the Super Bowl, I don't think anybody's going to say that Matthew Stafford is an all-time great quarterback. No, I don't think anybody's going to say that. So,
thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.